Hello friends of the Northern Entertainment and welcome to another episode of Train Sim World 2020. Today we are on the Long Island Railroad or LIRR with the M3. The M3 of course being a add-on that was released not that crazy long ago, and I have to admit that in the initial stream that I did of it I was less than impressed with a couple of things, namely the door operation, because it didn't work at all. Now it turns out it was an operator error on my part, and I will show you in this, just like the title suggested. I will show you what you have to do to make sure that these doors are operated the right way. If you don't do pretty much what I show you there, then the doors will not work. If you try to open the doors automatically, you go into an endless loop that you can rectify. But it is something that I didn't know. There is no documentation available for this train, which I have to say, shame on you, Dovetail, for that one. There should be documentation for everything, but be that as it may, let's get into it here. And also, this is going to be the first episode of Journeys. So, starting now, we will progress through a complete journey. And as you can see, we are at the moment at 0%. And by the end of this first season, I hope we are at 100% on the M3. And then we will work our way through all the different journeys. That being said, let's get into it. Let's get started.
Welcome to this Bud M3 electric multiple unit in Long Island Railroad livery. During this brief introduction, we will go through the most common operational procedures you will encounter. A lot of time will be spent in the engineer's seat.
And so we get going here. I mean, of course, quite amazing in terms of optics, as that is always the case, really.
The master key is used to activate the control desk.
We're just gonna work our way through all of this.
The reverser determines the direction of travel.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. There we go.
Lights are important to let others around us know.
So, and here is the first mistake that I made. Now, if you hit your... This is obviously just for PC. But if you hit your right arrow key, it will show you the different panels. And as you can see here, here's a panel called Door Control, which is directly beside the marker lights. And if you are just in the normal view, like here, it is super easy to go... It is super easy to go like this.
This unit has a combined power
See
and brake handle called
what
a
just
master
happened?
controller.
And I didn't realize that
Engage
initially.
This is indicated to begin the startup
So,
procedure.
this is the one thing that you have to make sure that this, and again, I will go up there to show you, this here is in the up position, not in the down position, because otherwise your doors will not work. Now another thing, and that's something that I will talk about more as we get going, is that your brake lever, or the combined brake lever here, has to be at least at level 5 to activate. If that's not given, your doors will not open once again. So those are really the most important things that you have to keep in mind.
Doors, a key must be inserted into the corresponding panel.
That is right. And if we do this and do this, then now we can actually open the doors and close the doors. And this was exactly what I was trying to figure out for 20 minutes or so, or maybe better. Tried to press all kinds of different buttons until I was completely frustrated and hit this button a couple of times. Had no idea that this was actually a thing, that I could go through the views like that. I don't know, I never used that. And yeah, I ended up activating this and thereby or deactivating this, and then I noticed that, oh wait a second, what? Yeah, they want us to remove the key, but to be honest with you, I leave the key in there because it's only me, so. Now we're gonna put the reverser to forward.
It is now time to use the master controller to get this train moving.
Yes.
It is currently set to apply the brakes.
So if you look
Pull
here,
the handle towards
just
you
if
into the
in
power
case
range.
you are not using the overlay, you need at least 30 psi on the pipe for this to work. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. But that being said, let's get going.
Now we're moving. Apply more power and focus on reaching the permitted line speed.
Yeah, speaking of, ATC is on, track speed is 80. We're gonna turn this off. And this train actually, this is, yes, they did reuse a bunch of different sounds from the M5 for sure, but there are certain sounds that are the same. That's just the way it is. Now, that being said, this train is actually faster than the M5. Alright,
Coasting
now...
is a method used to efficiently maintain speed and reduce maintenance requirements.
Now we are coasting. Let's go to 60. But we do have to slow down here fairly soon. And yeah, it is definitely... It's not a bad train at all. It's not a bad train. Yeah, it's a fairly busy line too. I mean, there's a lot of traffic here. And of course, with the M3 being one of those that you will only see maybe for a few more, months even. Just I heard from some people that know better than I do that the M3 is rarely seen anymore. It's a relic of olden times. Alright, track speed went down to 40 here, as you can see, but we are already down to 15 at this point, so... The brakes, as I said, the brakes on this train are quite amazing. Better than what the M5 offers us, for sure. And what a beautiful, beautiful stop that was, hey? Man, oh man. Okay, you know what? At this point, let's turn on the ATC. I do like that this tutorial, unlike other tutorials that we had in the past, we actually get to, we actually get to play around with other switches other than just what's required from us, which is good and bad because, well, you can accidentally turn the doors off and then you get all mad and whatnot. So, but it is what it is. You know what? That doesn't look good.
Operate the train to the next station without instruction. Be aware that an emergency stop will occur before arriving.
Oh, good. All right. Well, all aboard the choo-choo train. To Jamaica. Track speed is 40 here. Now we have ATC as well as our Deadman switch on. Which means you will hear the occasional ringing. It sounds like a school bell that calls you to recess, but in all reality it calls us to be aware of changes in track speed and so on and so forth. So we are now at track speed 40. There's our acknowledge. And we are cleared for line speed 80. Wonderful. So apparently there will be an emergency stop before too long, so that is not... Yeah, there you go. Whoa. And the way... Yeah, I know this is a penalty now. But the way that we can fix this is...
To recover from this situation,
Exactly.
controls must first be reset.
Now we're gonna... And you're gonna see, once I'm over 90...
Reset, so it is possible to
There.
get moving again.
Once we are over the required PSI here, then you can see this one drop, and that indicates that the emergency application is no longer active. So now we can continue our travel to the next station, which is 1.7 miles at this point. And on those journeys, it's not going to be all talky, because honestly, I don't know what I'm supposed to say when we drive this train over 20 different schedules. Other than when I see something that is worth mentioning, maybe some special thing about the operation of one of those trains, or maybe something that I learned about the track or the route or whatever the case may be. But there will be also times where you have just the train riding along and you can enjoy the sounds and sights. What do we have here? That's not our line, thank goodness. Otherwise there would be no way that I can stop in this short of a period of time. But this up there is definitely a reduction. 50 probably, maybe even 40. So we're gonna go down to 50 at this point. No, you know what? This is an approach signal. So it's gonna be 40 from there on off, or there on out. And there's 40. We're gonna acknowledge that. Aha! I knew it. Okay, now we're gonna go down to 15 because that's restricted aspect right there. Actually, that's a stop and proceed. So we're gonna be stopping and then proceeding. So 15 is our restricted speed. I'm actually surprised that oh wait a second, no, it says it diverging. Now I'm not so sure anymore. That might have been a diverging. Yeah, see now, okay. Never mind. Now we are definitely on restricted line speed. See, I'll be honest with you, the LIRR is still a book with 7 seals to me when it comes to what exactly each signal means. I mean, I know the general meaning of them. That much I figured out, because they are similar to semaphore signals. But, yeah. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so 13. That's the speed that we're gonna roll in on. I think that's a good idea. Actually, oh yeah, let's do this. Let's get a nice shot here of the train rolling into the station. There we are.
Good work. That concludes all the basics of this train. More details on the controls can be found in the manual.
And there lies the problem. There is no manual for this train. Well, be that as it may, the introduction is done.